G'day YouTube, it's Brett here from Overtime Gaming with you once again, and welcome back to the FIFA 13 Connected Career Mode series with Newcastle. Today we've got some Europa League action against Sligo Rovers, a team from Ireland, so hopefully it can be a big win for us today. Been on an awful run of form of late, and one thing, if you guys are regular viewers and have watched the last episode, you would have realised we're supposed to be playing Everton in this episode. Now, we drew 2-2 with Everton. We actually blew a 2-0 lead. We went up 2-0 before half time, and Everton then came back and scored 2 goals. One in the 90th minute as well. It was a real heartbreaker. And I did actually record this game, as I will with every other game. But for some reason, after I recorded it, I went to deinterlace the layers of the video, and my game capture software just wiped it clean and decided that there was no footage at all. So we actually lost that game completely, but it did go down as a draw, so I'll at least let you know what happens. I have no idea why it's done it, but we're just going to have to move on and hope it doesn't happen again. Now, this game is Europa League action. Again, we've been on a poor run of form, but hopefully a team like Sligo we should definitely be all over. I mean, you looked at our team sheet to begin with, and we have such a stronger side. We have made a couple of changes for this game. I mean, Jeremy Menez has got a slight injury. He's only out for today. So we've actually put Marvu on. And speaking of Marvu, I am a very happy man right now. Obviously, Newcastle beat Angie last night in the Europa League. It was a very good game. Angie were all over us for most of it. But second half we came out and were dominant. Stephen Taylor missed the sitter at the beginning of the first half. And then, of course, Angie got the red card for the second yellow. Which is understandable, and from there we kind of took control. We never scored, we should have, but we never did, and we never really threatened too much. But one player that looked very good last night, especially seeing as he hasn't played much, is Marvu. He was very good down the wing, and I was pleasantly surprised by his performance, and his cross for the goal by Cisse was absolutely beautiful. It was picture perfect. Beat all the defenders, placed it in that perfect spot where the goalkeeper's not quite sure if he can go, and the defenders can't get there. It was just a beautiful ball, and when Newcastle signed him, I definitely think that's what I expected from him. And if we can get that out of him while Ben Arthur's injured again and now potentially Kabai's injured, that could be a definite positive for us, and I'm very pleased by his performance. And equally, he played alright in this game for me, not great, but okay. But obviously, in this game, I'm looking to get some form back. I'd love the first win in the Europa League. Obviously, we drew with FC 20 last time, so hopefully we can bring it back. But, oh my God. How do we let a team like Sligo run through our defence like that? Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, by the way, but I really don't care right now. We're facing an Irish League side when we're a Premier League side. This is crazy. My defence is awful, and speaking of which, I thought I'd bring you what transfers I'm looking to make in January. Right now we haven't got the funds to do all of these, but I'll at least let you know who I'm thinking of. Hang on, are they going to go 2-0 up? No, good defending. But I'll let you know who I'm thinking of. And the first player I'm looking at is a guy that can add that bit of spark in our midfield. Our midfield's very strong already, but he'll just strengthen us up a bit, both defensively and offensively. He can unleash a shot from a mile out and tempt the keeper. And he's got a beautiful shot. His passing's very good, decent pace, but defensively he is very, very strong. And this is Paul Pogba. Now, if you don't know who he is, he plays for Juventus now, and he starts for Juventus now. He left Man United in the transfer window. He was there as a youngster. Fergie couldn't keep hold of him. And man, what a mistake that was by Fergie. This lad Pogba has looked absolutely fantastic this season. And if you don't know who he is, go check him out. I'd recommend you search for his 2 goals versus Udinese. They were absolutely outstanding. And he's only a teenager, so he's definitely a guy we want. And if I can pick him up for quite cheap, I'm definitely bringing him. He's my priority. Behind him is Lucas Digne, a left back from Lille. Obviously Lille is where we bought Debuchy from, and Lucas Digne is another player a bit like Debuchy, but a bit stronger in all honesty. He's another young lad, and I've already done some research into this. We can get him for about 4 million, so I'm definitely going to pull the trigger on that one. Because he definitely strengthens up our defence. It allows me to drop Bakali, who's not a left back by trade, he's a right back, and I'm playing him at left back at the moment. Allows me to send Hadaira out on loan and play Dine at left back, which will definitely help us out. And Dine's quite quick as well, so it allows us to have that covering defender as well. Now, the other position I'm desperately looking for is a goalkeeper. Ruffier has been a complete and utter flop for us so far this season. Hopefully he can pick it up by January. But I'm actually going to look to put him in this deal. And the deal will be for Mandanda. We can't afford Hugo Lloris at all. So Mandanda's our best option. He's also a very good goalie anyway. And that was an absolutely stunning goal by Ben Arthur. Now, we've had a lot of goals like that this season. We've really got to try and get into the box. But then again, if we've got players that can finish like that, why bother? But anyway, back to Mandanda. He's a very strong player. Very strong goalkeeper. And he's a good leader as well, so he could potentially be our captain if Kabay doesn't step up. So we'll definitely be going after him. We'll combine Ruffier in the deal because I don't think it will go through without him, and I don't think I can afford him without putting Ruffier in the deal. And then we'll go after a younger keeper to back him up, which allows us to get rid of Steve Harper. Go on. So there's that play. Now the next position we're looking for is a striker. Now obviously we got Henry and Ali Adier at the moment as Jeffron. But Jeffron isn't a dominant striker. Ali Adier's an older guy and he's not dominant at all. Great finish. Oh, Henry's been very good for us so far, but we could just use someone that can give us that spark for many years rather than just the next 2 years. If I have to combine Ali Adier or Henry into this deal, I'm perfectly fine with that. They were literally just need fillers when I bought them anyway. So there's 2 players I'm looking at. The first is Giroud, Olivier Giroud from Arsenal. He's a very young player, strong player as well, and good creativity as well. So he's definitely going to be my priority. There's a guy that's a bit better than him, and that's Gomes from Lyon. And he's better than Giroud, but he's also more expensive and slightly older. So Giroud is definitely going to be our first option. But if I can bring Gomes in as well, we're going to go for him. Now there is another striker I'm actually looking at, and I'm going to change the house rules a bit for this series. Now I won't if you guys don't want me to, but I'm thinking of it. We're going to be allowed to have one player who's not French in the squad, as long as he doesn't start, and he has to come from the French league when we buy him. So let's recap that. From now on, if you guys agree, we'll be allowed to have one player who's not French, but he has to be bought from the French league and he can't start regularly. And that player's a striker that I'm looking at, and that's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now if you haven't heard of him, he's really, really quick. He's a good finisher as well. He plays in the French league. He's from Gabon, but he was actually born in France. So in my opinion, it kind of makes him French anyway. I mean, Gabon, they speak French. So he kind of is French. He's played in France for a long time now. And he's definitely going to be a guy we're looking for. Oof. So he's going to be a guy we're looking for. And he can provide us with that offensive spark off the bench. But of course, if you guys don't agree with the rule change, then I won't go ahead with it. But I'd like to. Now there is one other player we're looking at. And that is Yann M'Vila. He plays for Rubin Kazan now. Before that he did play for Stade Rennais. I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm not 100% sure. He's a centre defensive centre midfielder. So again, he's a bit like that Paul Pogba, but not as good, and he's a bit older. But he's decent money. So if we can pull him from Rubin Kazan, that's another guy we can put on the bench, and it allows me to get rid of Obertan and players like that. So we're definitely going to try and pull the trigger on all of those deals, guys. Now if there's anyone else you guys want me to look at, definitely leave in the comments and I'll consider it. It all depends on how much money we get. I mean, we've still got the likes of Danny Simpson and stuff to sell. So hopefully we can pull them off. But as you can see in this game, guys, we're struggling again to get anything offensively going. It's the 85th minute now, and we're still drawing 1-1 with a weak side. And I honestly don't know what's going on. Obviously I am playing on the hardest difficulty, and in all honesty, so far it has provided us with a fairly realistic season. I mean, this Newcastle side isn't great right now, so pulling out draws and a win against Villa is kind of what you expect. But it's games like this. We lost to Hartlepool, for Christ's sake, who we should have beat. But then again, upsets happen, so I can handle that. But it's like this. We can't have 2 upsets in the space of like 2 weeks. I mean, Sligo are drawn with us. This should be a team that we should be tearing apart. I mean, we just played the ball offside there, and that was a goal scoring opportunity. They're the sort of times we've got to be better. And that's why I'm looking at someone like Pogba and someone like Giroud, because we desperately need that offensive spark. So, I hope you've all enjoyed this episode, guys. Now, next week, we have a big Premier League game against Man United. I'll bring you the whole game, but we desperately need a win. And United's not really the sort of side we want to go up against when we need a win. But hopefully we can. So, I hope you've all enjoyed the episode, guys, and peace out. We're heading into overtime.